I want to sit down with you and put a 5-year plan. I want you to work it because you enjoy it, not because you have to. Understand that it's a hamster wheel. It's every day you start at zero. And typically my goals are attached directly to your success. $10,000 a month, that will change most people's lifestyle. It's not that hard in real estate. And not everyone talks about that.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the What's Next podcast. I'm your host, Levi Casada, and my main man behind the camera, the Tony Hernandez. Say hello, Tony.
Yo, yo.
Tony, I'm smiling today. You know why?
Why?
The sun is out, bud. This is the first podcast we've talked about in 8 weeks that the sun is actually probably longer than that.
Isn't that crazy, though?
But the sun is out.
I know, man. It's California.
Makes me smile. It's exciting. It's warm now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, for a while.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it stays like that because, I mean, rain is all fine and good. I understand it has its benefits, but come on, you know?
Yeah. Well, another exciting news is we are opening our office in Chula Vista this week. We're excited. So by the time this actually is published and stuff, we'll be ready to go. We'll see agents come on through, obviously. People at New Venture Escrow, the owner there has made this beautiful building, incredible space for everybody to come out and use, meeting space and stuff like that. Which kind of brings me into my guest, which doesn't kind of bring me in, brings me into introducing my guest, because not only are we talking about beautiful spaces, this man makes beautiful spaces for people all the time for himself. He's a creator of different companies as well that I just found out. This is going to be super exciting. So please welcome my guest, Memo Cardona. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah. You like that intro?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you're here.
Excited to be here.
I've got a question for you real quick.
Sure.
It's kind of silly. It's funny. I've been thinking about this for a while, but why is it pronounced Memo?
So,
not Nemo or Memo.
Memo.
Do people call you Memo?
College professors, Yeah,
right. Exactly. Yeah.
So my full name is Guillermo. Guillermo is William.
Got it.
Memo is Bill.
Really?
Very simple. Yeah.
That is.
Spanish-speaking countries, Bill. You find memos everywhere.
I got it.
It's a very popular name.
Yeah,
I'm no joke. I've met two this week. You and another guy. And I was all, wait a minute. I'm like, wait, is this the same person?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Memo.
It's just that I didn't know.
Yeah, cool.
But I didn't know.
Memo Choa.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I didn't know it was as common as Bill.
Yeah, it's
or William.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Talk about, I was telling you that I was smiling a lot, because the sun's out, but dude, you have a contagious smile. Do people tell you that? Look at that, dude.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dude, life's too short now, too. Come
right,
on.
dude. As soon as you open your mouth, you got just a good set of teeth, a good smile and everything.
Right.
Well, welcome, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
First podcast?
It is. Yeah, excited about this. Yeah,
well, I'm excited to jump into this one because like I was telling everybody here that you own a lot of businesses here, and we're going to dive deep into everything you do, but I always want them to show up with Would You Rathers. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's give it a shot.
Some of these I laugh at when I find them. Some of them are a little bit deeper. We'll see how it goes. So this first one, it's a little strange, a little weird. Get my whiskey. It's Whiskey Wednesday. You know that, everybody. Okay. Would you rather have a third arm that can only high five or a third leg that can only moonwalk? Exactly.
Yeah,
so you live a normal life here. You have an extra arm off your body, and it is only used in life is high-fiving.
Probably the arm.
The arm?
At least I can hide it.
Yeah, you kind of tuck it away.
To hide a leg, it's kind of hard.
Yeah. But I feel like if someone's like, yeah, hey, high five, and you're like, damn it, your arm has to come out and give it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the leg would be tougher.
Yeah, definitely.
But moonwalking, that'd be pretty cool.
That would.
Yeah.
But they're just walking with you, and it's like,
I mean, yeah.
I thought that was a really weird one. I laughed, writing it down, but okay. We'll move on from there. Would you rather travel the world or stay in one place?
Oh, travel the world, definitely. As soon as I could, I was gone.
Really?
Yeah, and I try to schedule travel as much as I can because, at the end of the day, when you keep things into perspective, you have the great equalizer, which is death. We're all
all doomed for it. Right,
we're not getting out of this one alive, right?
Yeah.
So that being the case, then what only really matters is your experiences between here and death. So from here to there, you really got to appreciate and spend quality time with your loved ones, whoever's important, partners, kids, associates, co-workers, who you work with, quality of life. So it's a balancing act of how did those experiences go? And did I, one, make the money to make those experiences better?
Yeah.
So So for me, traveling, I've always tried to travel with my kids, my wife. It's part of our lifestyle. You know, it's cool. It's you know.
Where's the coolest place you've taken them?
Everyone has different, you know, experience. Santorini's one of our favorite spots. You know, we're big Europe people. We like Paris. You know,
Oh, really?
Spain, everything. We love everything. Dude.
Yeah.
And everything's different. You know, my kids will tell me like, dude, we love to go to Mexico because like for some reason, well, culturally, they have a really high quality of service
Right.
that you won't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard when you go somewhere else like New York City. You spend an insane amount of money for dinner, and it's like you're always being snubbed. It's hard to get a waiter. It's hard to do anything.
It's hard to get into those places if you don't have a
exactly,
plan.
and that too.
Yeah.
You know, so no, I like them all.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. Yeah, you do have to live every day like it's your last, right?
Kind of. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got to experience that day at that time. Like you
always got to work to build the future. That's
Right.
for sure. That's to be incorporated in your daily, your schedule. However, understanding the mortality of everybody, you got to make sure that you're appreciating every moment.
Yeah.
So, like some of the stuff that I've been blessed to do, like my daughter's a morning person sometimes, you know. So she'll wake me up at 5, 6. Dad, let's go have a cup of coffee. So we'll go to the cafe. We'll see the sun come out.
Drinks coffee?
Yeah. Well, she'll her little hot cocoa.
A little
right?
hot cocoa, nice.
But I mean, we're having conversations at 6 a.m. about something that's like, dude, in an hour she'll be at school sitting down at her desk. It's like, yeah, I took the ferry across the water.
Yeah.
You know, we sat down, looked at, I mean, the experience is just phenomenal. So
That's cool.
in 20, 30 years, I may or may not be here.
Right.
But that experience is like solidified.
But it'll
gold.
live with you until
And
those
her,
times.
And her children.
Yeah.
Yes.
She'll pass it on, exactly.
Correct.
That's a great answer, man. I love that because, again, a lot of people will stick around in one place, but getting out and doing stuff. I'm not a big flyer, so it's tough for me when you say that. Like, Paris is a 10-hour flight.
Yeah,
Like,
or turbulence, dude.
God.
Turbulence
I've
just
had
alone.
nasty ones,
This guy
yeah.
knows. Every time we talk about travel, he's seen me fly. I just
Yeah, my wife's that way.
a little
the
weenie.
most funniest thing, yeah.
If you could knock me out, I could wake up in a destination. Teleport. Let's just teleport there. But that's how I'd feel. Like, knock me out.
Yeah,
Get
well,
there.
he will be gone the whole flight. Like, he will not talk to you the whole time.
Oh, really?
That's the only
Just
time I'm
pushed
not
out.
talking. Put me on a flight.
No, yeah, I was with him. He's like, he's just not there.
Yeah. All right. Next question. We all know I hate flying. Would you rather see the future or be able to communicate with dead people?
Ooh.
See the future.
See the future?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
How
Definitely.
far
Okay.
into the future?
Preferably within like no more than 50, because then it's relevant information.
Right.
Yeah. Then
Got it,
you,
got it,
You
yeah.
can
Shit,
act on
in
it.
this,
You
in
can,
this industry, you're like, just give me a week. Let me know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, let me know what
mean,
next week's gonna be like. But yeah, that's
I mean,
good.
Your health, everything you can kind of adjust to it.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
definitely.
Yeah, the only reason I thought this question is because everybody's kind of lost someone in their life that they would want to talk to again or
And I've been blessed. Like whenever I lose someone, I celebrate their life.
Yeah.
Like yes, you do have that time of mourning. Like it's a loss; they're no longer part of you.
Right.
Like physically. However, I think the best thing you could do for them is celebrate them.
Right.
Whatever good or whatever they contributed to your life, dude, celebrate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, I think that's cool. So
and the Hispanic culture, the Mexican culture, like for sure, we that's why I saw one of the posts. What do they call it? The
the Dia de los Muertos.
or the ofrenda or the
Oh, yeah, the altars.
Yeah, the
Altars,
altars.
yeah.
Where you
No,
again,
no,
you
no,
sell
no,
it. You don't do that. I saw it on your wife's post. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that's the only thing I could find.
Yeah,
It's not
sorry.
ideal. But again, that's how we celebrate. Is we look back and we see them and we immortalize them. We keep them in our prayers and,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
everything. And so
Yeah. She does do that. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. I just but I like to go with the future too. Yeah, just to see what next week's gonna bring me, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Would you rather have this is stupid? All right. Would you rather have a tail that wags every time you're happy or a nose that grows every time you lie?
Tail all day long.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But if I was walking around, say everybody had this and you had one or the other. If I knew you had a tail, then I knew you were a liar.
Oh, because you're hiding it.
Because
Yeah,
your
yeah.
nose grows if you lie.
Yeah.
My view was a little bit more innocent. So
Yeah.
whenever I see my dog and his tail's going crazy,
You're a dog
Yeah.
person.
I'm like, bro, I love you too. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like
I know.
he's excited to see me. His
Exactly.
tail just shows everything, right?
Yeah, but your smile, dude, that's the same thing. You're just showing it all the time. I love it. No, I get you though, because I have a dog.
Yeah.
And then you just put your hand on, you just end up like missing something and just touch them, and then all of a sudden you hear do.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just that little touch or that like
Yeah.
movement towards them, they're like, yes.
Yeah, they're
They
cool.
get super happy.
It is, yeah. Okay, I'd go with tail too. Would you rather live in a world where everything you say and do is completely forgotten within a week, or a world where everything you say and do is recorded and broadcasted for all to see? Which is basically what we live in.
Yeah, that's today now. If it's from here forward, recorded.
Recorded.
Yeah. Pass, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I think
when
that's
you're
all
young,
guys.
you do dumb
You
things.
do dumb things.
Like,
And we didn't have that recording.
no, you can get away with dumb stuff.
Oh, we
before.
did.
When you're a middle school kid, you're just naturally wired to do dumb things. you
Yeah.
know, so yeah.
But now it's just, you're broadcasting.
yeah,
That's the hard part too, because you are on the hot seat no matter what.
yeah, correct.
You can't do any. I mean, not that we want to
Can't
go out and
undo
do
it.
anything. You can't undo anything.
Yep.
Like I can't. Not that I would, but I'm saying like even if you raised your voice in a restaurant because you weren't happy, or someone was altercating with, you say your wife. You're sitting there and something's, or like at a movie theater, someone keeps kicking your seat. It's hard for you to turn around and do it without being like, oh shit, I'm gonna make social media right now.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
know?
I remember as a kid in middle school, oh, we got 2 bomb threats this morning, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
they're all fake.
yeah. Go under
Yeah.
your table if you.
No, not even that. They were
Yeah.
just ignored because they're kids just messing around. You
Yeah.
know? Now it's like you have bomb threat and it's like
Alert to everybody.
lockdown, email for parents, everyone's there. And unfortunately for, because of what's happened, but
Yeah.
it's just different times. That young, dumb kid that, thought he was pranking,
Is
ends
now
up in
going to jail.
with the history for the
Yeah.
rest of his life.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
that's tough.
It's a different world right now for sure.
Yep.
All right, we'll just do a few more here. Would you rather remember all your past mistakes or have no memories at all?
Mistakes.
Yeah.
That we could learn. Yeah, get something out of it.
That's the way you learn, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You got to burn your hand a couple of times. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's what because you've raised 2 beautiful children.
Thank you.
And they're
14 and 16.
14 and 16.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Freshman and sophomore.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, always raising kids with a significant other is tough because you always have different views.
Mm-hmm.
You come from the same ethnic background as your wife, though, correct? You're both Hispanic.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have a funny story. She was my neighbor.
Really?
Yeah. So we currently live in Coronado. We grew up across the bridge in Logan Heights. Well, it's called Shelltown, which is right between the border of Logan Heights and National City.
Okay.
Mountain View is the technical name. She was my neighbor 3 doors down. So, very similar upbringing culturally.
Yeah.
I'm 5, almost 6 years older than her. So I remember her mom couldn't have kids. So when her mom got pregnant, the whole neighborhood
so
knew about
you
her.
were already like, yeah.
Yeah, I was a
5.
neighbor.
Yeah, you were a young
like
kid.
5 years
Yeah,
old,
yeah,
almost
yeah.
6, and everyone was celebrating. It's like, oh, la señora, the lady's pregnant after not being able to have kids. So it turned out to be her. So
Dude, I love those
Yeah,
stories.
it's,
That's such a cool thing. You were meant to be. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you
so-
came back and found each other. It wasn't like
yeah,
ordered-
and we're complete opposites.
yeah.
Like I'm right wing conservative, she's left wing, everything. like Bernie, we're which is cool. But at the end of the day, our essence, faith, family, everything's it aligns.
Yeah.
The way we express ourselves are completely different, though.
Well, and that's the way I say it because, like, for me, for instance, I learned that way. Like, burn yourself. You're gonna learn like that's hot.
Correct.
My wife's like, don't let him do that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, don't let him touch it.
I'm like, no, let him touch it. He'll only do it one time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You'll have
hopefully.
you'll have the mark. I mean, then at that point you're like, okay, maybe we should go get him checked out. So you're raised in San Diego. You're born
Yes,
and raised.
local, born and raised. Yeah.
Your wife as well.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Okay. So where did this all begin? You started here. You went to school here. Where did this career just blast off? Walk us through.
The business aspect of it.
Yeah. Like when did
Yeah.
you get into? When did you think okay, growing up, what
Mm-hmm.
kind of jobs did you have?
So the blessing of starting with very little, it instills a large sense of hunger.
Right.
In many aspects.
Yeah.
Securities, validation, everything, right? So obviously we both were in very humble neighborhoods, very humble lives, beginnings. I think I was working at 12, 13 years old,
Yeah.
By 14, 15, I had 2 jobs, so I was, after middle school, I would go pack ice at the liquor store, $5 an hour.
Now tell people that because they don't our generation would know what packing ice is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like there's
yeah.
young people out there going like packing ice. Don't you just buy the ice? Like,
Yeah, well, I was the guy packing it into a bag.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then
So
they would
that-
go into liquor stores and buy the bag for $5.
right now those bags almost fill themselves up, right?
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
kind
there's
of break.
machines now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
machines.
yeah. AI,
AI, yeah.
Fairly quickly, I was putting together a portfolio of landscaping contracts. So like every kid, you do landscaping, right?
Mow the lawn.
Yeah. So I was going after HOAs, getting their landscaping contract because they paid better.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And did that. Well, actually, by my freshman year, I already had crews working for me. So
wait, you had a crew working for you?
I would,
Freshman in high school.
So I had all my buddies, you know,
yeah.
$5 an hour on a Saturday from 9 to 12, sometimes Saturday and Sunday. They go out there to do the routes, you know.
Okay, you're paying them.
Yeah, cash. It was total cash, you know.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I was 13, 14.
So what were you? Okay, let's talk about financials here. So what were you charging?
I always had a stack of cash in my pocket because I grew up with very like it's.
Yeah.
It hits to the heart. It's like who you are. It's like, you know, you got to be able to, if I take someone on a date, I got to pay for dinner.
Right.
I got to be able to buy flowers. My dad always told me, you want to have a girlfriend, you better have a job. How you
Yeah.
going to buy her flowers? How you going to
Yeah.
take care of her? It's like, if you can't take care of yourself, how you going to take care of her? So that whole mentality, 10th, 11th grade, I was working at a junkyard, selling cars, landscaping. Like, you know, I've always had that mentality. It's like, why would I stay home when I can go get a job and make money?
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's incredible. Well, because like my kid looks at me now, and is like, Dad, you have that money, right? Like he wants like an Xbox. He's like, I'm like, dude, that's $500. You better start saving.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you have $500. I'm all, yeah, but I'm not gonna give you five. You know what I'm saying? The mentality has changed.
Yeah, it is.
We grew up with nothing, so it's kind of like you going out there and like I said, I remember cutting lawns every weekend. It was like, and then, you know, my other friends are just like, what are you doing on Saturday? I'll be cutting lawns.
Yeah, I'll be working. I'll be free after 2.
yeah, I'll be free after, you know, sun goes down. I'll, you know, come hang out. But again, at 7 a.m. the next morning, I'll be, you know, kind of, so it was a little different then.
Yeah. And it's a blessing because now, for example, my kids, because they're now at that age, they're like, Dad, I want to work. And for me, it's like, make sure you understand to put money to work for you versus you trade your time for money.
Yes.
Because it's a big it's a big change of mindset. You know, if you can allocate funds in different investments, where now all of a sudden you're making money by just moving things around versus out there trading your time for money. So it's a different time. Kids now are way different than
way different. Yeah. So you have a pocket full of cash. You're running a crew. You're getting out of high school. So you're doing this all through high school, or are you doing something else?
I got out of the landscaping. I think it was my senior year. Yeah. So did
you sell that business?
Yeah.
Did you really? You sold all your clients?
Yes. So from my wife always jokes about this. From 12 to 13 to like about 20 some years old, I think I might have had like 15, 20 jobs, you know.
Dang.
And it was kind of go, save, you know.
Yeah.
I've always had the mentality, it's like, can you really afford to sleep? Like, because, you know, you look very comfortable sleeping at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. You should be like 2-3 hours already in the grind. You know? And for me, it's if you're at that point in life where you can't, great, because you earned it. But if you're not, why are you sleeping in?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, there's accountability. You got a spouse, whatever your scenario is, right?
Yes.
So I've always had that mentality. I went on to actually in high school, I went to get my real estate license. And luckily, this is the 90s. The market was horrible.
Yeah.
And I went on to college. So I studied finance, Celebration College, and from there I transferred to San Diego State. Did the whole banking investment side, you know, Merrill, Citibank, Holman Smith Barney, like all the, you know, the financial side for a very long time, 7, 8, 9 years, you know. And all at the same time, I always had a side hustle. You know, I was always, you know, I had a...
How old were you when you were doing this?
17 to about 22, 23, right around there.
So you had a different mindset of now saving. Like, okay, I always bring this up in our podcast because in my experience from getting money and going into college and stuff like that, you're starting to, you know, you have the money. Are you putting it in, like our age, it was like savings and that was kind of like all you knew. And then if you went to like, and then credit cards came out and you're like, what? I can have money and not spend my money, like sort of thing. And so like debt starts coming up. Did you ever feel like you ever got into debt doing stuff like that?
Yeah, so the lack of the right mentors, I went through all of that.
100%.
And right now, I would tell you, spend the money, compress time, pay for mentorship, pay for coaching, pay for proximity around people.
At a young age.
At any age.
Any age.
Even if you're 80 years old.
Yeah.
You know, you want to become a bodybuilder, go hang out with bodybuilders.
Got it. Don't look on the apps on your phone and
stop
try
reading
to
the whole social stuff. Yeah, get out there and do something. So I've made plenty of money and I've lost it plenty of times. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I've had, I think I was like 19, 20. I had like 5, 6 cars. I had every check on my list, a Beamer, a Benz, a this, a Porsche, you know, like everything, which is now I look at it, it's like, dude, that was like I should have bought a piece of real estate with that money. Can you
Yeah.
imagine they're selling for $70,000 back then?
Isn't that crazy?
That would've- yeah, it's
crazy.
What it is to not have proper mentors. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
So in the ideal world, I wish I saved everything, but I've made it, spent it, made more, lost it all, made more, lost, so.
Never forget your mistakes.
Yeah, and that's
Right?
the most important thing. It's the journey, right?
Right.
It's who you become, who it's made you, and then did you learn from them? Because if you're able to learn from them, then next opportunity you're like, oh, I've been there, done that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm making sure I'm putting this aside, or
Right.
or putting it into like a concrete asset like real estate or something like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you see these young kids driving these young
a depreciating asset.
These,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Now it is again it is. But yeah, you see them and you're just kind of like, dude, I wish you could tell you like you just need something to get you from A to B,
Correct.
right?
At least while you start out.
At least while you start out.
When you got it, it's all good. Have at it. Enjoy it because you earned it.
You earned it
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're out of high school. You're starting to collect a little bit of debt, but now you're going into like, what do you do after high school?
I started buying, selling cars, I think 18, 19 through like 20, probably mid to late 20s.
On your own?
Yes.
Not through any dealership?
No.
or
So what I
anything,
was doing,
so-
I was wholesaling them. I would get them out of Texas, out of Florida, through the beginning of the online auctions. So this is when the web was barely starting.
That's what I was
out.
just saying. Like
Yeah,
there
it
was like
very
dial-up,
early.
like
Yes, it was
pictures
dial-up.
would load up like
Put the
this.
AOL CD in there, and yeah, literally that's what it was.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
like I was about to ask you like how did you even sell these cars?
Yes. So what I would do, because I didn't want to do retail, my time was limited because I had so many jobs.
Yeah.
I would put them out in different car lots. So I would wholesale them to the car lots, some in Arizona, some in all through the Southern California. And then they would sell them for me, and I would make my money that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Right after that, I got into the next company I actually sold to a company called the Money Tree. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I've heard
They
of
have a
Money
green
Tree.
caterpillar.
Money Tree is still around.
Yeah,
isn't
they're
it?
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a company that I sold to them. I had a few locations here in San Diego, which is a payday loan, check cashing, Western Union, kind of like a financial service. It's like a
Yeah.
poor man's bank.
Okay.
It's for the unbanked. is
Yeah.
what you're doing. So-
Yeah. You don't have an official bank.
yeah, correct. Yeah. So did that for a few years, built that, did very well with it, sold it to them. It was great because as a finance person, when you look at some of these contracts, it's like a 900%, APR. It's ridiculous, I hated the business. I hated the clientele. It's people that need financial education instead of,
Right.
it was just, I didn't like it. So I sold it to them and I went into real estate because this was already like 2004, 5.
Okay.
And I saw the writing on the wall. I'm like, this is not going to last long.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the time to start looking into it because there's going to be blood on the streets. This is the time to get in there. So
Right. And you're kind of financially secure at this point where you can make that leap because sometimes like when you go into real estate, we talked about this before, but you're unemployed after every transaction. Like
yeah,
you know?
money's relative.
Yeah.
I know people who live on, $40,000 a year, $30,000, and they have a great quality of life. And then you got people.
Oh yeah.
Buddies making several million a year. They're just horrible quality of life.
I just spoke to somebody yesterday about it, and I said, it is relevant. It is what you perceive as like, we were talking, and she's like, yeah, I'm not, these high people out there, the top of the, real estate professionals, and I'm like, but what's your goal? Like, what do you want? What do you think is secure, and what do you think is a lot?
Correct.
Because I think when you get into this industry, everybody's striving for that.
Mm-hmm. For the numbers, yeah.
For the numbers, like I want to be number one, I want to be number one. That's great, but like, but there's also like a comfort, like you said, like you're gonna burn yourself out. You're gonna hate it. You're not gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, I think in life, so if you can find happiness in your current state,
Yeah.
money will only magnify it.
Right.
Right. If you're not happy where you're at, money will only make it worse.
Right.
Like it doesn't solve issues. It fixes 90% of your, the other stuff like, bills and, travel and stuff like that. But inside your computer, the way it's structured and wired, you got to reprogram that. And especially if your upbringing wasn't the best,
Yeah.
then you got to go unprogram that and put new stuff in there, So that mindset, I believe it's something you have to do every single day for the rest of your life. 15, 20 minutes, put in some Tony Robbins, put in some Ed Mylett, put in some good content.
Yeah.
Because when you stop, your mind can be a toxic place. You start going negative. You start going into, all this clickbait stuff. It's the end of the world. The sky's falling. The market's collapsing.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that's super important. So if you find happiness there, and when you simplify happiness, it's gratitude. So if you find gratitude in whatever you have, even if it's nothing, at least you're grateful for being alive or having air,
Right.
fresh air to breathe or something.
Right.
But as long as you get the gratitude portions figured out, everything's gravy. I mean, everything's good. At that point, you're happy for everything.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yes, you know.
And it's funny you say that. And whoever, watches this podcast and stuff like that, we share this with, and that is 100% true. And I'll be the first to say that if I was listening to you a year ago, or I'd say 2 years ago during COVID, and I didn't believe in that stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, gratitude. I go and say nice things and it's going to happen. Like, it's like, and then I started doing it. I'm like, you know what? Might as well buy into it. And I started thinking about it. I didn't write it down. I should probably write it down. And people do write it down, but just saying it, like just in your head or out loud, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, just what you're grateful for when you wake up, to your significant other, to your spouse, to your partner, to your family. Like, just say what you're grateful.
Yeah.
It works. I'm going to tell you, it works. You feel so much better. I don't know what it is in your body that does it.
It changes the chemistry.
Does it really?
Yeah. So you look at, like for me, you look at your wife who just woke up, and you're like, hey, you look so beautiful. And with the sun hitting you, it's like, dude, she just woke up. You know what I mean? It's not the case. Yeah. But you're in your mindset. That's what that's the chemistry inside of you, which brings joy and happiness to you.
Yeah. No, it works. I'm telling you, try it. Just try it.
So
for a month.
I started writing my goals when I was like 17, and I still have a lot of like the diary pamphlets of them.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing is going back and seeing like what the goals and what my mindset was at that point in my early 20s, late 20s,
what was
my
some
30s.
Of them? Would you share one of them?
A lot of it was just money. I want to make 50 or 100 or 250 or 500 or a million. All that stuff. And as you start hitting them and you start seeing that you maturing, you're like, wow, that was cool at that point when you're in your 20s, whatever. But, now you have these different sexier goals or more mature goals. And it ain't about the car anymore, the Maxima or whatever, the Nissan, whatever. Now it's kind of the experience. So I'm a true, true, true believer. You have to write the stuff down. And I've always did 25, which is the lines on one page. Write them down every single day. And it's self-actualized. I enjoy making X amount every year. And I enjoy it with my family, and experiences. And everything, when you look back, it all materializes. And what it is, call it faith if you're religious, call it law of attraction if you're into the that type of thing. All it is that you're setting up your subconscious to see opportunity. And when the opportunity arises, you're already prepared because you've been writing about it for so long.
Right.
So all of a sudden, you're able to capitalize on the opportunity. So
I feel like
so huge.
Yeah, I feel like you've already made it real.
In your head, correct.
In your head, but also when it's in your head, it's easily forgotten sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody, Tony the other day just sent me a text and he's like, disregard this text, but he wrote it down because that's the only thing. I don't know if my name popped up or something. He's just like, if I put this down, then I'll remember it or it'll be out there and stuff like that. Yeah. But I feel like we do that. You need to do that because you can see it constantly. It gets out of your head. You can stop thinking about it because now it's real because you've written it down.
Correct.
And now you see it and you can read it, go back to it. It doesn't it's not forgotten.
Correct. Material.
And like you said, like you looked at these old ones and you're like, dang,
so cool.
I did hit it. I did hit it. This is so fun. I love it. So, okay. So now you're in real estate.
Yes.
Let's get there. So what you started selling, what's your first home?
I started selling in 2005.
Okay.
So
before the.
So I got about 2 years of title companies paying for the boxes and there's Vegas trips every weekend because there's so much money out there.
I'm new to this industry. I wish I was back in there back in 2005. That's cool.
Like there's money thrown out everywhere because everyone was making a ton of money.
Yeah.
07 through 11, the market obviously took a tank. I was blessed to have a few REO accounts. REOs, it's when the property goes into a bank foreclosure.
Okay.
Now the bank has to get rid of these.
Yeah.
They have to dispose of these assets. So they find local people who know the market who's able to help them sell them. So that was the only market for many years. So it was, it was a blessing to be able to have inventory to sell.
Yeah. Were you buying multiple properties from the banks or were you just?
So the way it worked, I worked as the agent capacity. So I was the real estate agent, the face for the property for the bank. And it was kind of like, here's 5 today, on Monday, and the next week they'll give you another 2, 3. So it was kind of like as it came in, immediately, hey, we foreclosed on it this morning. I need you to go out there, rekey the property, check occupancy, file the city, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So great learning experience, great for valuations, for property management, for preservation, for the whole aspect of dealing with making it the health and safety issues. If you got mold, you got to make sure you remediate all that stuff. So
right.
And then obviously retail business because I had a lot of friends and family that just needed the service. So flipping investment side, I think I did my first flip like 2009, 2010, right around there, a few years into the business.
Kind of seeing that out of that, we're still in that recession there at like 2009, right?
Yeah. So I remember selling a house, and this is 2009, 8. This is not a long time ago. I remember selling I sold a 3-bedroom for 17,000 National City. I sold some in like 38, 35, 42, 45 in City Heights, like houses, you know. And I remember thinking like, this is a car, you know. And I couldn't touch it because I was the agent, you know, and it kind of gets kind of weird. You don't want to lose your account. So, but I remember seeing these agents, investors buying them and selling them for 125, you know. Which was still screamingly cheap.
Yeah, they were right.
Well, they were cheap back then. Everything got to like 250. So, but for me, I saw the space and I knew I need to get into that space, you know. And as something that I would tell up and coming agents, I think everyone gets into real estate because you want to make money and become financially independent.
Right.
I don't think you get in the space because you want to hold open houses. You know, like it's rewarding. It's part of the business that you get a friend into their home and it changes their life financially.
Yeah.
However, if you yourself, you got into business because you're trying to make money. You're trying to set yourself, you and your family up for success. So I think the difficult thing there is that you approach it and you drink the punch of a real estate agent saying, hey, open houses, sell, 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 sell. The reality of it is you got into business to make money. You know, to build your future.
Right.
So a lot of people have the mentality, hey, I'm gonna go sell a bunch of real estate. I'll make $1 million, and then I'm gonna go buy real estate with that $1 million.
Yeah.
Instead of someone telling you, hey, go buy real estate with $1 million discount.
Yes.
Now you have an asset. You didn't have to work all this money, you know, to make all this money to put into real estate. You bought it at a discount. Your balance sheet, I mean, your financials, your P&L looks a lot better. You know, because all of a sudden now you have, you know, ton of equity. So that it's and we'll go into further about the companies, you know. That's what really drove me there, is to make sure we if I can help other agents and say, hey, let's keep this very simple. You know, our objective here is to make sure you have a 5-year, 7-year exit strategy. There is no retirement here. There, like, once we are done, I remember 2007, there was a few agents that passed away on their deaths from heart attacks.
No.
And I'm thinking, like, that's the most horrible way to pass, because the market has shifted and they were just stressed out. And, you know.
There's still agents out there that I mean, you go to caravans sometimes and you're like, wow, but it's that time frame that those people did not come into the business having an exit strategy.
So the way I look at it, especially with like Premier, like our real estate office, I want to sit down with you and put a 5-year plan.
Right.
Let's make sure you don't have, like, I live to work. I'm gonna work till I'm gonna be 90 years old behind the building saying, I built this building, this 30-story building, I built it, right?
Yeah.
That's my mentality. I want you to work it because you enjoy it, not because you have to.
Yeah.
So that being the case, then put a game plan. Hey, 5, 6, 7 years, you could be out of this, you know?
Yeah.
This is what you got to do. This is how you're going to do it. These are your numbers. 10,000 a month, that will change most people's lifestyle.
Right.
If you got 10,000 a month coming in, you know, cash, you know, on the cash flow side, dude, now you could take an extra trip, or you can maybe make your quality of life a little bit better. It's not that hard in real estate. It's putting a couple of deals together, keeping them, you know, burying some properties, adding, you know, some units or adding value to the properties, and you can have an exit strategy. I mean, and not everyone talks about that. Everyone,
for sure.
Yeah, everyone kind of brings everybody together. It's like, come on, collectively, let's sell real estate, and the broker's doing well, you know. But how are you doing though? You know, at the end of the day, so
right. It is. It's you know, you talk about this before, but it's let's position you with the right mentor. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're gonna just like you and I, like, learning that fault or that, you know, that mistake at the beginning is like, oh, I'm gonna go on my own. I'm gonna do real estate on my own. I don't need a mentor or a team to help me. Like, I'm going to learn this, and you miss out on 5 years of actually making that plan, lining yourself with the right mentors out there.
If I would have had the mindset I have now in 07, 08, I would have been done.
Billionaire.
Done. Literally.
Well, let's talk about your 4 companies for one thing. I think this is great. I touched on it a little bit. So Renovate San Diego. Let's talk about that. You do beautify some
thank you.
old homes. I love it. I went through the whole portfolio.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
So Renovate San Diego, we are what's a real estate investment firm.
Okay.
We buy properties that are underperforming or are in a distressed situation.
Yeah.
This is maybe about 8% of the market. It's a small percentage, you know. So we are not the buyer for everybody. You know, if you have a nice move-in ready house, put it on the MLS with your agent. And,
right.
You know, that's not us. We are more like, I got a tenant that doesn't let me in the house. I got a really bad mold issue, so I don't want people going in there because of liability. I have a 30-year rental that I haven't touched in 30 years, and it's just so outdated, so falling apart.
Do you do trust too, as well as somebody probate,
everything. We buy everything. Yeah. We buy them everything from attorneys, probate people, like everything.
I mean, I can imagine
Agents,
somebody
brokers.
inheriting a house and going in there for the first time that their parents have been in, and you're just like, I gotta get rid of this house.
Yes, there's a lot of military who bought in the 60s and 70s and never did anything to their house. Wow. And their house is now worth one point something, and they're moving to Florida, to Texas, Arizona, and they're paying cash out there, and they're putting money in their bank, and they're done with their 900 square foot house here in San Diego. And they're out there hunting in Texas. So we see a lot of that. And for us, it's awesome because we're beautifying the neighborhood.
Right.
That one ugly hoarder house is now the nicest house on the block.
That's
so
incredible.
All the neighbors love you because you add value to the neighborhood. Comps go up, value goes up for everybody. For agents, we really enjoy working with agents because we're a tool in their pocket. So when they sit down and they know it's like, okay, this is not an easy sell. I got, an issue here I got to work on. That's where they call us. And we like to build that relationship because they know they can call us and say, hey, I can get you a buyer that's going to take on the property with all your headaches. You don't need to move out. You can leave everything behind. Just take whatever's valuable.
So that firm or whatever that your company
Renovate San Diego
Correct. Is the investor.
Correct.
You guys are going. You're buying. Okay.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we take ownership of the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also work with a lot of wholesalers in that industry, which is people who are kind of like the middle people.
Yeah.
They go out there, they knock on doors, and they always source deals for us too.
Right. Do you have a full team that goes in and walk me through a process? So I'm sitting there with my agent, and I'm going, okay, yeah, this is not looking so great. And
sure. So typically, if it's from an agent, they'll reach out to our acquisition team. We have a team of acquisition agents. They'll run valuation. They'll walk the property. They'll do a preliminary scope of what it needs to bring it up to par. If it's a full rehab, a partial rehab. At that point, we'll present an offer, to the agent, to the homeowner. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it's very common that offer will sit there for a month or two or 6 or a year. And then they'll say, okay, we're ready because, we tried everything else and it didn't work out and we just want out of this.
Yeah.
And then we go in there and take on the headache and figuring it out.
Now, if it lasts that long, though, you're talking 6 months to a year, do you reevaluate it?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to.
You have to.
Even after we own it.
Yeah.
When the market softened up, we have to reevaluate everything that we were holding on to see, where our positioning is. And it's a constant thing.
How many are you doing a year?
Well, the market slowed down the second half of last year. So I think this year we're trying to shoot for about 80.
Really?
70 to 80, right? Depending on the market. If obviously the inventory is really, really tight. There's very low inventory. It's very anemic.
Right.
So that really limits how many we can do.
Yeah.
So instead, as we increase our transactional volume, we're increasing our market share quite a bit because there's less and less out there. Okay. So
nice.
Yeah. So once it goes through the acquisition side, we take the property, we go through the construction, which can vary anywhere between 2 weeks to 6 months.
You also have your own construction company.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So let's jump really quick. Let's just jump off there and talk about your construction company. How did you find these guys?
Sure. So
plug them too. Plug yourself.
Yeah. San Diego Build and Remodel. So we build bottom-up construction. ADUs right now is a very popular thing. We do a lot of ADU constructions, everything from garage conversions to, a little casita in the back to everything out there. So we lean towards the investor space. So, for example, we'll have clients like, hey, I just bought a 6-unit. Can you turn it over, make it rent ready? So we go in there, with the rent ready approach.
Yeah.
We'll also have other flippers who it's like, hey, I want to outsource the construction side. Yeah. And they'll bring on San Diego Build to take over the flip. We'll do all the construction. Then they pretty much just buy it and sell it.
Right.
When it comes to flipping, I believe, and this is out of firsthand experience, I believe one of the hardest thing is managing the construction.
100%.
Yeah, I've seen everything from beer bottles inside the drywall.
There always will be a Coca-Cola can inside a beer bottle.
The guy picks up a drug habit. The guy gets divorced. He has some kind of lien, and your GC you just gave money to is gone. So it's a lot of work. So our team vets these guys. We have a deep bench of teams, that are, this guy's ideal for new construction. This guy's really cosmetic, that's their limitation. This crew's really, that whole dynamic, that's years and years of of dealing and working with these people.
100%.
So
I went through it as well. So like when we did we're not doing a flip. We actually renovated our house that we're living in now. It is true. Like if you don't have the right people, like electricians aren't plumbers.
correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna find the guy at Home Depot that does, you know what I'm saying, that does plumbing and electricity. Like you want somebody that's very profound in electricity.
Yes.
And you don't want him doing your plumbing.
You pay for it regardless.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll save it with the GC, but you'll pay it on holding costs.
Yeah.
So you have an extra mortgage of, on a property or one way or another. So I would encourage newer investors, it's like plug into our system. We're here to help. We enjoy working with other investors. We all have a mentality of abundance. There's so much out there. We're scratching the surface. Even though we do so much, we're blessed to do so much. There's so much more out there. So when investors could come in and plug in, and we can go in there and say, hey, bud, you may want to, it doesn't make sense. Like do the numbers, look at your ARV, look at your comps. You may want to do this renovation instead of that extra $20,000.
Yeah.
So like all that, goes in there. So there's a lot of expertise that goes in there. So that's what San Diego Build and Remodel is.
That's cool.
It's everything from flips to new construction.
Yeah. Just tweaking a little thing to get your rental up to where you want it to be for a little bit more income.
Yes. So we tend to be more on larger projects because we run big construction. I mean, we're doing a lot of projects and big projects.
Yeah.
So we shy away from like the kitchen remodel, for a homeowner.
Yeah.
It's more kind of like, I want to put a brand new building behind the house.
Right.
It's more of that approach.
Got it.
And we're really good. We've been blessed. Our team, like everyone in all the companies, have a really high standard. When it comes to work ethics and customer service and everything. So that's
amazing.
It's a blessing to have those people around you.
Yeah.
It makes you look good.
Well, good. So that company comes in as well on your, your renovation projects.
Yes. So they're slightly different, because the San Diego Build is, that's we have clients on the Renovate San Diego. I'm the client, it's my crews, my everything. So I can scream at, it's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
San Diego Build, it's meant for the other investors.
Okay. Do you use them on your projects though at Renovate?
Usually there's so much. Everyone's so busy that it's
hard to.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of start commingling them. Like from time to time we will, but and they're slightly different dynamics too. If we're going into somebody's property, we have a certain standard. Job site needs to be clean. There's just so many things that because it's not our property, we don't own the property.
Yeah.
When I own the property, it's slightly different. More flexible. But
you can kind of.
Yeah, I can kind of be forgiving on stuff.
Okay.
So,
You don't need
it's like just hurry up and get.
Yeah, you don't need a
move the
vacuum
truck.
until the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so you brought the property. Now you have another team that you have that's on your payroll at San Diego. Renovate San Diego.
Yeah, so through Renovate San Diego, the flip side.
Yeah.
So we buy it, goes through construction, and then it goes into the disposition, which is the selling side. That typically goes into the MLS, and that's when we put it for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first flip?
Probably not. I'm sure I can go back.
Yeah. What's the biggest asset that you would give or like advice you would give someone to do in their house if they were just doing like a simple?
Best bang for your buck is kitchen and bath.
Kitchen and bath. Also big ticket, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it can be.
Expense-wise.
And it can also be fairly inexpensive, too. If you go about it, countertops you can change fairly inexpensive now.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. But, paint, landscaping goes very far for not much, especially if you do it yourself. I mean.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of, obviously, do you do your own stuff yourself? Because you're going to a landscaping company,
Yeah. Well, no, like for my personal stuff, I'll send the crews
How
out
do you
there.
not have a landscaping company right now? Are you looking into it?
No. So.
Oh, come on.
It's the margin and the volume and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
So you got those two companies. Tell me, we already talked about Premier, right?
Yes. So Premier Agency, it's a real estate office. The beauty of it, they help us sell our inventory.
Yeah.
So we always have open houses, we work together, The Premier Agency came out of because that whole approach of the agent, where I see, someone 10 years down the road and they're still spinning their wheels check to check.
Right.
And I've been there, I drank the punch, and I want to be a voice where someone can see and say, hey, I understand this guy. I want an exit strategy. I want to make sure my family's taken care of. I want to make sure, even if you don't have a family, I want to make sure I'm financially independent, And you need to find that space and plug into that. You got to find the mentors. You got to find people who open the opportunities for you that could say, hey, Renovate San Diego didn't buy this because it was too expensive for them, but for you, it might be a perfect property. You know, you're buying it at 90% of value. They need to pay for a little bit less. But so I wanted to nurture that mentality and have those agents that could come in. And the way I look at it, if your goals and my goals align, let's run with it. You know? And typically, my goals are attached directly to your success. You know, your success is me building my business. So by doing that, we're able to bring an office together, have accountability. It's like, yeah, we can all talk about it. If there's no action, then it's just dreaming. Yeah. So it's like, if you show up to the office, you know exactly what you need to do, what your numbers are, how everything works. Then at that point, there's traction. We're moving forward, and then you're able to reach your goals. You know, 5 years from now, we can have a beer, and you're like, dude, you know, I got my my goals are met. You know, and it's because we came together, you know, with the same mentality. So Premier's agents that are looking for that, please reach out to me. You know, I'm more than happy to kind of
look right in that camera and tell them where they can find you for one thing. We'll do it again later, but
no, definitely, So I come from a place of contribution. I definitely, if I can, because I've been there and done that, you know, we definitely want to build a home for agents that can say, hey, I'm here with the same mindset. I want to make sure I have an exit strategy. I don't have to exit, but I want to make sure I'm financially independent in a certain amount of time. And this is how we're going to help them do that. And it goes hand in hand, you know.
Yeah. Well, because you also want to know where they're coming from, because some people get in and be like, oh, I want to do real estate because I just want to get my real estate license and just whatever my friends and family will sell. Like, that's great. Let's put a little plan together on that point of it. But it could be more than that. Some people don't know it could be more than that.
Correct.
You know, or, you know, I just want to do this for 5 years and open a florist company, you know, like sell flowers, you know, like that's to finance something else. So let's talk about your goals on trying to get your other goal happening.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And we have to keep it very simple and basic. The majority of your problems go away when you make money. Yeah. Like you have new problems like taxes and stuff like that, getting a better CPA and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But like all the small stuff, like all the day-to-day stuff, that goes away once you start making money. So if you come in and you say, hey, this is the amount of homes you need to sell, and this is how you're going to do it, and what your daily routine needs to look like to get there. Yeah. Then at that point, you're able to say, wow, I made extra money where I can allocate it toward an investment property or an Airbnb or out-of-state multis or, you know, Ohio or Kansas City, whatever it is, you know, but at least you have a game plan. But
wait, are you telling us a little secret, though, Ohio or Kansas
No.
City?
Okay. There's so many markets out there. There's so many markets that are great to invest in. But the reality of it, though, is you got to have that mentality where it's like very simple, and I tell this to all my team. If you're not getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning, it's because your goals aren't sexy enough. Yeah. And if your goals aren't sexy enough, you need to be around people who will put you there, that will set the accountability, that will say, hey, like, I'll see you at 5:01 at the office. Yeah. You know what I mean? To write our goals. Right. You know, so back to the whole great equalizer, like, we're all gonna die, dude. Yeah. And from here to there, and especially as a male physiologically, I think after your mid 50s or 60s, like everything goes down, your energy level, everything. So if you know you got a certain
50s or 60s, I thought it was 40.
Well, technically it's 30s, but But like I think after like late 50s, it really goes down. You know, you need more sleep, you need everything, right? So
take naps.
Yeah.
So is that where you at right now?
Yeah, kind of need a nap.
Drink some more whiskey.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you know that's your window, dude, why aren't you like a beast, dude? Like, forget everything, dude. Attack your goals, dude. Yeah. And you got to have the people around you that have the mentality. Yeah. You got to have that where everyone's like, let's do this, you know, like I'm with you, you know, it's like that accountability. So
right, because when you're working a corporate job or a job that's 9 to 5, you know you got to be there at 9. But when you're an independent contractor and you're working on your own,
that's kind of hitting home right now.
You kind of go, okay, 9, okay, 10 o'clock. Oh, well, I got maybe something else to do here. 11 o'clock, I'm gonna start working. Yes. But when you have an office space to do it, and you have other people in the same mindset, now that kind of not a corporate thing, but you also feel like, okay, I'm not gonna be the last one in there. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not gonna be at 9:02. I'm gonna be there at 9 o'clock.
Exactly. So when I got into real estate, I got into a group of 5 brokers who were all making $1 million plus a year. Yeah. I was the only guy not doing that. And we met like every 3 or 4 weeks. it was the most uncomfortable thing. It was,
You see those numbers.
how can I get to be like my buddies, like everybody else? I'm not performing at that level. And it's like, what do I need to do to get to that point? And that's why I say proximity is power. Like, you really have to get in those circles because, there's levels to wealth,
Yeah.
Once you reach a certain level, you're like, dude, I need to be there. And this is how I'm going to do it and how they did it. And they put me in contact with their SEC attorney, with this accountant, with this guy, and it just breeds it.
Yeah.
And it's the way it just pushes you forward.
Right.
And it's super important. Like, I'm all about, even if you have to pay for, mastermind groups and all that, and conferences, all that stuff, it will change your life. If you're not incorporating that, you're treading water. It's dangerous because years will go by, 5-10 years will go by, and you're like, dude, you're stuck back there. It's dangerous. So,
Well, like I said, I'm new to this industry, and the one thing that I've learned is you look at your numbers. You're excited to look at your numbers when they're good, but you're not excited to look at them when they're bad. And you have to. That's the time you really look at your numbers, because then it keeps you going for your sexy goals. I got that from you. I'm going to keep that. Dude, I love that word sexy. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you were probably regretting going in there, and all those people that are making $1 million were like, yeah, I can't wait to see, like, I'm making $1 million. But you're like, boom. And now you surpass those people because of those times that you hated it so much, but it made you a better person. It made you hungrier and like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You, especially in sales, you have to start every day at zero.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. You can have a humongous pipeline, a ton of money coming in your way. Every day you start at zero because that's going to close in 30 days. And then what? There's not another check.
No. You're employed.
You see, every day you start at zero.
Yeah.
You just don't drink the punch. Don't buy into the ego stuff. How great you're doing. I got a box of a bunch of awards. I never looked at them. I just toss them. Like, I'm not believing this stuff. You know what I mean? It's
we can talk about it because we're also. I was talking to you earlier. Like, your Instagram, you don't do any of that stuff. Like, I was so low key. So low key that I couldn't find any dirt on you. But it is. You're right. You're talking about your business, and
I want to be the guy to own it, not to have the face of it.
Yeah.
I'd rather be behind the scenes, moving stuff. And then be the guy out there in front of everybody's face. Me personally, I'm set up that way. I'm sure that limits me in certain ways because social media exposure is huge. You
huge.
Put yourself out there, people reach out to you. Opportunities open up because they know what you're doing and how you're doing. All that stuff. But at this moment, I enjoy my quality of life. I enjoy my kids, my private life. I'm okay.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah. Dude, we've been talking how long, Tony? And
an hour and 5 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
Right, dude? That goes by so quick, dude. You're doing great. One last thing. I want to talk to you about your last company. It's a mortgage company, correct? Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick.
That came out of the market shift.
Okay.
So, again, driven around the agents. With the market, once that rate went from 3 to 5 to 6 to 7, every consumer became rate sensitive. And for me, when I look at the industry, the ones that were hitting out of the park were the brokers, because everyone else has managers to pay. They got to build in all these spreads. It's just complicated. So for me, I figured that's what we got to provide our agents, the best rates out there. Luckily, because volume's not that high,
right?
The brokers, the wholesale lines, everyone's performing. Before it was a headache. Oh, they'll take you 45 days to do a loan. Right now they're doing 10, 12 days because, there's not the volume like before.
Yeah.
So that's where San Diego Mortgage came out of. I want to make sure we're offering really good rates. On the Renovate San Diego side, it helps me because now aside from this property, I can also sell it for a lower rate or do a buy down or get creative because, if the client is in-house, then, dude, we also got the mortgage side that can really take care of you because it's all in-house. So that was a part of the whole ecosystem that I'm trying to build.
Right.
It's bringing agents together where all the services, the verticals are there. We all have the same mentality. You closing escrow and getting paid is our success, because we were able to get your client, a good rate. So they love you because you did their referral. They found a great property who was nicely renovated. So it's a win-win. So it's that environment that we're building. Yeah, definitely.
Well, you've done it right.
Thank you.
And like I said, I don't think anybody comes in this industry and goes, I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it right from the start. It takes time. Yeah, and as you see in this industry, a lot of people move from brokerages to brokerages because of that. It happens.
Yeah.
But those are what you learn and you've done a great job of what you've learned. You've taken that and you're like, okay, I can build better. I can make it better. I can do this. I can do this. I need to help people. Not only are you doing it for, like you said, security and for your family and taking care of yourself, because money's great, because it does buy vacations and stuff like that, but you are giving back. That's the biggest thing too. Is like you love San Diego. You're giving back with these beautiful new homes. You're giving back with this mentorship on creating people to have that responsibility and with the money that they're making and goals and stuff like that.
If you take care of them, you're by default taken care of. Like the money comes as a byproduct of you adding value to their life.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
Dude, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, dude. This is great. I need this week to week because I'm grateful.
Dude, let's go grab a beer, dude.
Let's go
get McKee's or something. Dude.
Are you heading home now? I'll stop. I'll finish 100%. But I always like to finish our podcast with finish the sentence. You've already had some great wisdom out there, so you've hit on most of these, but I'm going to give you a few more here. I laugh when.
You know, I laugh a lot, obviously.
You do laugh a lot, and I love it. You're like one of those people that you need, like your friend. I have one friend like that. Like he'll laugh at anything I say, so it just makes me feel good. But you do, dude.
I laugh a lot. I'm blessed. I'm way ahead of the game. You know, I'm really blessed, and I count my blessings all the time. And I laugh about everything because it's a blessing to be able to laugh. Because one, you got life. Not everyone's blessed. I got plenty of people who didn't make it. You know, just life. You know, for some reason, you know, they didn't, you know, they didn't have those years, but, you know, it's almost intoxicating, you know, it's a state of gratitude, you know, it's kind of like it's all good, you know, who cares what gets thrown at you? Yeah, the market collapse, who cares, dude? You know, we're good. I got health, you know, I got my loved ones, dude, you know, we'll do it again. Let's do it again. Dude.
Let's do it again.
But let's do it bigger now, you know?
Yeah.
I always like to laugh, dude.
Yeah. And, you know, a big, you know, good vibes, I didn't hear until I moved here. I don't know if it's a California thing, but like I grew up from Arizona. Just seeing that, I even got a doormat that says good vibes. So like when you walk in, you're like, all right, it's time to have some good vibes. Like,
yeah, definitely.
My buddy says it all the time. Yeah. All right. I love it when
people succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always a roo-rah cheerleader. Dude, if you're killing it, do that. Right on, dude. Right on.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're a coach, man. Like that's a coaching mentality. Because I coach volleyball like to the youth. I coach in the middle school, by the way.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. And it is you struggle through life. You struggle through practices. You struggle, and you're like, oh man, this is brutal watching these girls. But man, the first time you see them make it serve and they get so excited, it's just like those little things. As a coach, like you too, like you see somebody succeed in your business, you're like, dang, that feels good. That's what we do. That's what, you know, all the time, all the blood, sweat, and tears and everything.
Definitely.
That's amazing. All right. I work best when?
I like under pressure, you know?
Yeah.
Because it gets you alive. You feel alive.
You can tell.
You know? It sets you in the state, you know, of go out there and hunt. Yeah.
Well, you could tell because that story you had with like you going in there and walking around people that selling $1 million homes or making millions of dollars a year.
Yes.
That's the pressure you need to get up and go.
Accountability, mindset. So, was it Napoleon Hill? You know, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry, not Rich Dad Poor Dad. The millionaire one. What is it? Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, Napoleon.
That's right.
Okay. He talks about the effect and the value of a mastermind, right? You know. And most of it, especially me, like I didn't grow up with anybody of any net worth or anything or any kind of like mindset stuff, right?
Right.
You know, like that's something that I had to look for. So when you're not blessed with that proximity to people, you know, then you have to substitute that. You know, you got to put your mindset, your mastermind, you got to pick them. So you got to say, hey, I'm gonna pull in Tony Robbins for my physiology, for you know, for that, you know, that aspect. I'm gonna pull, you know, some bodybuilder guy for the fitness or Mr. Physique, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull this athlete for, you know, or this family or marriage counselor, you know, for my spiritual or for my family, you know. And it's your responsibility really to put this together, so you know how you're feeding and developing each aspect of your life, you know. So that's super important because most of us do not have that. You know, we got to pay for that. And if that's the case, then make sure you, especially your kids, that, you know, hey, dude, yeah, you're limited to Kardashians. You can be listening to Ed Milet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like on IG, like, dude, follow
Yeah.
this guy. You know, Kathy Fedke. Like, you know, I go through my daughter and son. I go through.
Do you
everything.
really?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's
it's like,
amazing.
dude, I'm not. I need to empower you. I don't want to limit you. So use it, but like, go easy on all this other junk. You know, influencers. I want you to follow these people because they're going to change your life, your views on everything. You know.
Yeah.
So it's important to really have that around you on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You know, because we're all in the same struggle. You know, we're all humans. You know, so at the end of the day, we gotta feed it. You know.
Yeah. Our kids will grow up different for sure. Like, obviously, in this industry, we know, like, hey, you don't need a fancy car, like you were saying earlier. Like, set them kind of up, and that's a great advice to anyone. If you have kids at a certain age, you know, you're 14, 15, 16 years old, like, start going through their social media and get them off that junk, man.
Yeah.
And start giving at least feed in some of the better stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
That's so cool.
Definitely.
All right. I admire people who
have the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's plenty of people out there that both in every extreme, rich or poor, you know, that lack the drive.
Yeah.
And when you see someone that's doing it regardless, like kind of either you get out of my way or you join me, you know, I really appreciate that.
Do you really?
know? Yeah, because it's that hunger, dude. I like that. I feed off of that. That
reminds
synergy.
of you. You're like,
It's
yeah,
a
let's
synergy,
go do it
dude.
together.
Like,
yeah.
Yes, dude. How can I help you? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, let's do this. You know, I want to see you succeed. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
God, that's why I love this guy, dude. Just sitting here, like, you bring a joy.
All right.
You know, I can't get over it. It's amazing. So, okay, last question here. The advice I would give a new agent.
That's huge because I built these companies around that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of advice. Get around the right people. Get your finance in order, your financial state in order. Understand the industry. More than anything, you have to believe what you're selling. Like, you go to a listing appointment and, like, for me, if I'm listing a property, well, how many properties do you have? Like, well, I don't have one.
Yeah.
Hold on, I own X amount of property. You want me to have you list it when you don't even own one? Yeah, I mean, it's like, so one, you got to believe in it. So you got to get in there somehow, you know, and I'm more than happy to explain how to work your way up into, you know, a portfolio off of FHA and then going from 2 to 3 units to 4 units to go to move up and layer, like, you know, all that. There's so many ways of building a portfolio with not too much out of pocket, you know.
Right.
I'm more than happy to, you know, if anyone wants to reach out, I'm more than happy to sit down and grab a beer and talk about that stuff. But that's huge, you know, and understand that it's a hamster wheel. It's every day you start at zero. And you may not be able to do it every day. And there might be years that you may not want to do it, you know, that you're like, I'm done. And it's important that you put everything in place. So you can't just say, if you want to say, hey, I'm going to spend 6 years in Barcelona, yeah, you know, I'll see you in 7 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's important that you see that. And not everyone does. So most people just get in the industry. They start doing the whole thing. I'm an agent, business cards, open house sign, sell, spend, sell, you know, taxes. And 10 years goes by and you're like, dude, I need to retire and I don't have anything. You know, I got a good lifestyle. Right. But I mean, I don't have a pension. I don't have, you know, car doesn't give you a pension.
Yeah, because you don't have that set up for you in this
we're
industry.
all independent contractors. We're all 1099, you know. So understand that, embrace it, because the beauty of it, kind of like I mentioned earlier, it's now you're able to buy real estate at a discount. Yeah. Now you're the first, you know, you have access to this before a lot of other people. You can network in your office and with other brokers, with other managers. Like, dude, this guy might have an off market that I might want to buy. So leverage that relationship, leverage the industry, you know. But don't just go with the flow, because, you know, 20, 30 years will go by and all you did was make money. Yeah. You know what I mean? And aside from that, you didn't do anything for your future. Where to go at that point. Yeah. Like, well, what good is money for if you can't invest it? I mean, if you're not investing it, you know, there's no value to it. It's depreciating. You know what I mean? Inflation's killing it, you know?
Well, like you said, at the end of your life, like, not at the end of your life, but at the end of your career, wouldn't it be nice to know that you had a couple properties that are working for you still and making money, instead of having a heart attack at your desk, knowing that you're trying to list a home and get offers and like still reviewing offers and stuff like that. That's tough. You don't want that. No. You need to align yourself with the right people.
Yes. Plug into our system. Yeah. Plug in, you know, in every aspect. And, you know, our objective is to build the agents out. Yeah. You know, and aside from personal satisfaction, it's, you know, it's because I've seen it. I've been in the industry long enough and I see it. It's like, dude, you know, there's a gazillion of them that are, you know, 20, 30 years in the business, and, you know, some of them don't even own their house, dude. Yeah. Like, best asset class out there is real estate. I did security. I did the whole Wall Street stuff, dude. We get depreciation, we get appreciation, we get the write-offs, we get all this stuff, 1031s, we get for our taxes. There's gazillion ways of making money in real estate.
Yeah.
It's the best investment vehicle there is, and you have to believe that especially if you're selling it, you got to be able to understand it. But I mean, it's a no-brainer. We're in the right spot. We are in the right place. Now we got to put action into it,
Right. Train these people,
Yes. Accountability, educate them so they can understand it, and more importantly, get in the middle of it.
Yeah.
If I'm more than happy to take someone on a visit to the projects and understand why we're putting 5 units on this property, how the cash flow analysis looks, why this is going to make us, why we're doing this,
Right.
And when you see that, you're like, dude, they're doing it. I can easily do it.
Yeah.
And even further, we'll encourage you, like, dude, this is a connect. This is how you're going to take it down. This is your long-term debt. Everything. So
right. At a young age, you go, you're in your class and they're like, no question, this might be dumb, teacher, but then no question's a dumb question. And in this industry, it's true. Ask the questions.
Definitely.
Doesn't have to be the right ones. Just ask the questions that you feel like you need to learn about.
Mm-hmm.
People will respond to you. Right?
Definitely.
And, people get so scared and being like, oh, well, I don't want to ask that question. And you have to ask that question. Find out the answer to what you really are looking for.
I think the biggest thing is, how much is that question worth?
Yeah.
Is that $1 million question? And it may be the dumbest question, but for you, it may make you $1 million.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah, because you need that answer.
Yeah. Don't be shy. Get out there. Find
definitely.
the right people. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I don't know where Tony left. Tony left us. He walked out. No, he always closes our show, but he'll do that later. So for you, I want, what's next for you and your family, your businesses?
So I'm not going anywhere. I enjoy our industry. I enjoy the San Diego market.
Yeah.
I encourage anyone to reach out to me. More than happy to help out in any possible way. If it's a fit or not, no worries. I'm super excited what the future holds. I've been through the highs and lows of our economy of the real estate market. I've seen it all, so it's kind of cool. However I can be a contribution to anyone, feel free to reach out.
Well, that's amazing. Well, kind of look in that camera and let them know where they can find you directly, because you obviously can't find this guy on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. No, I'm just kidding. You can, but it's yeah.
No, definitely. So on Instagram, believe it, my handle's cardona.memo. Cell phone's probably the easiest one, which is 619-254-4090. And you can find that on the MLS.
Plug all your companies one more time, just so they're all.
But to add value to you guys, we got Renovate San Diego. Yep. So on the agent side, you're able to go on a listing appointment with the cash buyer in pocket. Always feel free to reach out to us if you need, to leverage any of our inventory, hold something open or anything like that. We're more than happy to help you. San Diego Build and Remodel, especially anyone that's building ADUs, we're there to help you. Everything from, working with the architects, the city, the planning, all that stuff is a headache, and we do that all day. So on new construction, like rent-ready investor projects, that's what we specialize in on San Diego Build and Remodel. San Diego mortgage broker. So if those creative stuff, the lower rates, we're there to help everybody. Everybody from those very little down payment, we got people in with like $100 into houses before.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I love it. I hate to say it because I don't want to do it again. No, because it's like it doesn't always work out that way. You gotta have everything has to come to place. But and then the last one is Premier Agency. So Premier, and this might be more of the larger audience. It's a real estate office that we're there to help you guys meet your financial goals. And aside from selling real estate's a byproduct. I think who you are is our priority. Lining up your goals with our goals. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
A byproduct, we got to sell real estate to make money, but what are you going to do with the money? Where the opportunity lies? Are we all have the accountability? Are we all on the same mindset? All that's important. So that's Premier Agency. So feel free to reach out to me. Obviously, everyone has renovatesandiego.com, San Diego Build and Remodel.com, SD Mortgage Company, CO.com, and Premier Agency, SD.com.
Well, Memo, thank you so much, man.
Appreciate
this has been such a pleasure. Again, like you said, find him. He's out there. He's here to help. He's staying in San Diego. He's helping San Diego. This episode has been super informative and amazing. Thank you so much again for taking time out.
Pleasure to be here.
I know you're busy. The hustle is real, but this guy, he doesn't stop. So I will grab that beer with you if you want to.
Definitely.
For the What's Next podcast, you can find us on iHeart, Spotify, YouTube for the full video of this, Instagram. We are everywhere. So check us out. Till next time, guys. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
See you.